All right, I'm here in my lockout for a quick tip. And this quick tip is basically I started thinking about feathering the bass drum and how every drum teacher I had that was talking about jazz told me every bass player you work with is going to want you to feather the bass drum, feather the bass drum, feather the bass drum. And so, feathering the bass drum, for those of you who don't know, is when you're playing jazz, a lot of times bass players are playing a walking bass line. Boom, 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 boom. And what feathering the bass drum is playing the bass drum really lightly on the quarter notes with to support the bass line, the bass player. And they all said, every drum teacher said, bass players are going to want you to do that. The only people that have told me that they want to hear feathering the bass drum are drummers. I've never had a bass player tell me that. In fact, I've had several bass players tell me, stop with the bass drum, get out of the way. And which they're definitely going to tell you that if you're playing the bass drum too loud. But in this case, the bass drum was they said they hated feathering of any kind. So then I got to thinking about, should I teach that, even though I've heard it from a bunch of drummers? And it got me thinking how much information we learn from teachers is just stuff that they taught. So when I teach, I try to teach only the things that I've learned through my own experience, not necessarily just things that I heard in lessons. Now, there are a lot of things I heard in school and lessons that have since proven to be valuable to my career and valuable to my playing and how I work and what gets me gigs. But there has also been a lot of stuff that, for whatever reason, it just might be that I'm not saying that this was bad information. I'm just saying that through my career and my experience, there are certain things that I learned in college, learned in lessons that I found have not been applicable to me. So when I teach, I try to think and teach only the things that I have direct experience with myself, regardless of who taught it to me or where I heard it. If it applies, I teach it. If it doesn't apply, I feel kind of dishonest about teaching it. And then that got me thinking about how much of everything, you learned in high school about history, how much of everything that is taught to you is just being regurgitated from something that somebody else taught. And so I kind of wanted to stop that with how I teach and with the information that I try to present to my students. Anyway, it was an interesting thought, so I thought I'd share it. Quick tip, I'll see you later.